Now, let's create a small pattern with our bill. To do this, go to File, New and specify the size you need. Great. Now, simply drag the layer with the bill onto our project. Press Ctrl-Alt-T to transform and reduce it. Using the same combination, we rotate the bill. Now, holding down the Alt key, clone and move the copies. Don't forget to rotate our bills from time to time. Select all our layers and group them. After that, we will reduce our group with the help of transformation. Clone it with the pressed Alt key. We can mirror our group by right-clicking on it and selecting Flip Horizontal. Now, select the extra bills by holding down the Control key and delete them. Turn off our white background and save pattern. Now, go to BannerBoo SVG Animator and add all our files. Super! Now we put all the elements in their places and change their size. Let's change the name of our layer. Now, let's make the winking animation. To do this, let's move the keyframe with an opacity of 1 for 3 seconds. On the left, add a keyframe with a value of 0. On the right, add a keyframe with a value of 1 for a small animation delay, and after it, a keyframe with a value of 0. Super! Now let's review our animation. Place and rename all other objects according to our image. Now let's animate the eyes. To do this, click on the desired layer and set the keyframes to values left and top. Drag the cursor on the timeline and change our values. Duplicate these two keyframes on the timeline with a bigger distance. And add 2 more keyframes with a different value. We also make a delay by duplicating these keyframes. And at the end, copy and paste the first 2 keyframes. As you can see, our animation is too fast, so let's add a little more space between keyframes. Our animation looks this way. For the next step, let's add opacity to all of our objects. To do this, select them, place the cursor before our animation. Go to opacity, set the keyframe, move the cursor to a couple of frames, and set the opacity value to 0. This is how it looks as a result. Next, we add a bill to the project. We reduce its size. Change the name. Set the keyframes for moving and transforming the object. Move the cursor to the right and transform according to the animated bill. Now let's move our animation to the left earlier in the timeline to our main animation. We move the bill to the layer below and increase the timeline by clicking on it and pulling it up. We do this to reduce the opacity of the animation. Thus, editing it manually is much faster than using values. Wonderful! Now we add a keyframe with an opacity value. And another keyframe on the right with an opacity of 0. This is approximately the intermediate result. Now we add a keyframe with the value angle to the initial keyframes of bills. We move our cursor on the timeline to the left. And we also move our bill by additionally changing the value of the angle. Let's see the result. Super! Now let's copy some values to make a little delay in the animation. We will also move the left, right, and angle values earlier on the timeline. Let's take a look at our result. Now we export our project. To do this, click File, Export SVG, select Infinity and click Download SVG file. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will explore how to make a scroll stopper in BannerBoo with our prepared elements.